Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby.
You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border. And then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on America's soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Hello, everybody. Welcome on this fine Wednesday. How y'all doing? What's up, everybody? I see you in the chat. Hello, American Anchor Baby here. About to get started here. Just getting myself situated in the chair. Gonna get into a bunch of stuff here. Definitely getting into Trump. I mean, come on. They're using the 14th. They're using the Anchor Baby amendment to go after the man. So let me just apologize. Let me just I apologize on behalf of all anchor babies. Okay, but this has been going on, okay? 14th Amendment being used against Trump. We'll get into that. And your calls, of course, 888-775-3773. You want to get on the air and talk about what you want to talk about. 1-888-775-3773. If you're international, you can call in. You could try Skype, try WhatsApp, or other VoIP services. I believe they work. And I am live on rumble.com/American Anchor Baby, x.com/Gorgonzola, and we're trying out a little Twitch stream, twitch.tv/Gorgonzola. Usually we reserve that for Fridays. Why not stream it? Why not stream on Twitch, huh? 14th is for the Confederates. We'll get into all that. We'll get into all of it. They're going after Trump big time. You guys catch the Hake Report today, though? TheHakeReport.com, live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. They had an interesting conversation about, an interesting conversation with a Bill, not the engineer, but another Bill. A Bill he came across on Twitch. So maybe I'll get a Bill. Maybe I'll get a little random person on Twitch calling me too. Bill on the Hake Report. They had a conversation about racism, basically, and race mixing and things that he didn't find. He was not too happy to see. Nick hoping Bill discovers his show. Anybody, please, anybody, call me. He wasn't happy with the chat. He wasn't happy with some of your conduct. Maybe even some of you in my chat. Some of your conduct talking about racism and race mixing. Bill wasn't too happy on the Hake Report. Had to call in. Had to figure out, well, what are you about, huh? How are you okay with this chat? They're talking about you, chat. They're talking about your conduct. I thought you were the best behaved. He was incredulous, okay? He was Why would anybody be okay with someone talking about race mixing in such a negative way, etc.? Definitely check out the call on the Hake Report. There's others who are equally as incredulous in reference to another moment, another online internet moment where a tweet basically went viral, okay? It's in fact gone viral a couple times with people asking, well, what's the big issue? What's the big problem here? Anybody see any problem with this picture? I want to know. Do you guys see anything wrong with this picture right here? This is Nimrata Haley, posted by Johnny MAGA. This is Nikki Haley, you know her. Nikki Haley running for president at her daughter's wedding. Nimrata, this Johnny MAGA called her, using her, I don't know, her Indian name. I forget what she is. South Carolina. I don't know if she is the former governor of South Carolina, the same woman who removed the Confederate flag, caved right away to the pressure. One of the first things, cave into the pressure right away. So this is her at her daughter's wedding. That's Nikki Haley right there. That's the daughter. You may be confused by the way she's holding him, but the daughter who got married is actually that one on the left. And people are wondering, well, what's the big issue here? What's the big idea? In fact, this picture has gone viral apparently multiple times. People asking, seen this go viral twice. What's the big issue, huh? Bojack here reposting this saying, what's the problem here? I don't understand. Why is this going viral, conservatives? Why is this going viral, you conservatives? And why are you talking about it and posting it with no context? 1 million views. Well, what's the big idea? It looks like she raised her daughter wrong, says Mr. Pink in my chat. What makes you say that? Now, what makes you say that? I wanted to show you some of these comments real quick. Hold on. I wanted to show you some of the comments because the conservatives weren't happy. They were a little peeved at this being a thing. I'm trying to find it here, but they were criticizing the posters here, so saying, "Well, what are you trying to say? Are you just posting this to poke fun at that her daughter married a black man, huh? What are you, a bunch of racists?" It seems like people have been commenting on this post and may have. Oh, here it is. Here's one of them. Inez Stepman, a woman on Twitter here, says, of all the justified ways to criticize Nikki Haley, a badly exposed photo that doesn't show the difference between white and champagne very well is not among them. And others too commenting, well, why would you post this? What's the big idea here? Now, if you, obviously I don't truly have a problem with this. Not personally speaking, to be quite honest. Now, I don't like the way she's holding him, though, and the way she's leaning in. If you ask some people, that means something. The way she's. If you could draw some green lines here, you could see Haley, her head, she's a little tilted in, leaning into her. Wait a second, her daughter's new husband, holding him like that. I don't know. Maybe I'm overreacting, huh? Little Oedipus complex going on, huh? Maybe not with her birth son, but anyways, I don't particularly have a problem with this. I think it bears repeating the conversation on Hake Report and all that on why people even do it. It's a hatred of your parents, you know. It's a hatred of your parents, but it's the comments too. It's the comments that get me. It's the conservatives, the conservative mamas, and other conservatives. In the comments, just incredulous. Like, why would you even suggest race mixing? And why would you even, out of all the things you could criticize Nikki Haley on? Looks wrong, says Hake. It just looks wrong on its face. It just looks wrong. Let's be real. And what gets me is the conservatives or whatever in the chat getting all up in arms about it. So can we pick the battles here and not get mad at this, because racism doesn't exist, and, you know, the replacement of whites and all that. Look, let them have their marriage and all that, obviously, but why get mad at other conservatives over that? I guess that's my thing. That the conservatives are so afraid to even talk about anything really, race, there was this video going viral. Rob Smith. I wasn't even going to talk about this, but this Rob Smith guy, black man with a husband. Some video going viral of some of the groypers, these young America First type people, basically saying he's gay. I think they even called him the F slur. No, I wouldn't go around calling people such things, but yeah, calling him the F slur. This is, you know who I'm talking about, right? Rob Smith, this conservative guy with a husband, parading around the conservative movement with a husband. It seems like your own fellow conservatives would be quick to just snap at you should you be all the isms. And it's like, are we any different from Democrats? And it's not even Democrats, but it's like, are we any different from people who believe in words, who get affected by words? Can we be different from people like that? It's not even like Democrat, Republican, because that doesn't even mean anything anymore. People, you know what I'm saying here? It's like, can we just be different from the people who are like affected by words, isms, who don't think for themselves, and not team up? Can we not team up with these same ism people who are only saying those things to silence you? It's not an argument. You can't bring up Nimrata Haley's daughter marrying a black guy. What the heck is wrong? Like, why not? That's really my thing. It's how fellow conservatives kind of lose it on this stuff. Lose the plot very quickly, team up with everyone they say they're against. Very, very quickly. And it's out of fear. You know what I'm saying here? We can't be fearful, even if they call us or they say we sound or look like a racist or this or that. We got to be different. Anyways, wishing them whatever her daughter's name is well in whatever they're doing, right? Tucker Carlson is warning Trump, though. Speaking of Nikki Haley, Tucker Carlson big warning for Trump. Sends him a warning on this rumor that Nikki Haley might be vice president. A Trump-Haley ticket. Tucker Carlson saying, heck no. Not only would I not vote for that ticket, I would advocate against it as strongly as I could. So he's a little bit of a warning there. I don't think a lot of us would want to see that. We really can't, huh? And we really don't want to see that. Come on. 888-775-3773. I see your calls coming in. I will get to you, but I want to talk a little bit about, speaking of Haley and Tucker, talk about the big news here. Trump 45, Trump 47, Trump 2024. I'm about to bring back my Zorro stash, Nick. Bring it back. Right on, Mr. Pink. You heard about the news. They're using the 14th Amendment. Repeal the 14th Amendment. They're using the Anchor Baby Amendment. Although it's not really the Anchor Baby Amendment. It's been perverted to be the Anchor Baby Amendment and worse. But this was the 14th Amendment. It's like Civil War stuff. The Confederates, the Confederacy or whatever. It really had to do with that. The Civil War. And so 100 years later, people are all up in arms about the wording and what it means. And let's be real. Let's be constitutionalists. Unprecedented Colorado ruling puts courts at the center of Trump's fate next year. Talking about this big, huge ruling at the Colorado Supreme Court decision, which has concluded that Donald Trump is constitutionally ineligible to appear on the ballot in next year's primary. It represents a stunning rebuke of the former president and a new level of accountability for his efforts to overturn the 2020 election, threatening his 2024 electoral prospects in a way the 4 criminal indictments against him have not. Holy, so they're taking him off the ballot. Obviously, there's people in Colorado who would want to vote for him. Don't know how that's constitutional. Don't know where the constitutionality lies, where the American public, citizens, out of their own volition, wish to vote for this man, but they say it's a right. They say it's your right to vote. Remember? It's your absolute right. They can't take away democracy. It's your right to vote. All people, women, everybody. And black people who saw a meme, if they saw a meme, yeah, that guy who was spreading a meme, it was obviously a joke that black people can, tricking them to vote wrongly in the 2020 election. Yeah, every vote matters. So that person has to go to jail for tricking the black people, who, by the way, deserve votes, Republicans. The same people who believe voting is a right. Very happy to take it away from those in Colorado. Kind of incredible moments. American politics. Court's 4-3 decision on Tuesday may not ultimately lead to the former president's removal from the ballot in Colorado or any other state because of expected appeals. They're going to fight this, and you know this. It's got to be a fight. But who knows how it'll end up? It's all, they say, as they're calling it, uncharted territory for the country. Stuff that's never happened before. A lot of firsts. So the ruling puts the country in uncharted territory. Here you go from CNN. Raising the shocking prospect that a major party's candidate could be barred from office. I mean, it's never happened. Incredible stuff. Outside of the courtroom, Trump has increasingly embraced inflammatory rhetoric, musing about being a dictator should he retake power. They love that. They love that he said that. They're like, look, he really is a dictator. The comments he made about, I'll be a dictator for the first day or the first few days or something like that. Obviously, everyone's saying, heck yeah, definitely the majority. Trump repeated his incendiary comments about immigrants on Tuesday, reminiscent of Nazi propaganda about the whole blood, poisoning the blood. Echoing Adolf Hitler, they say. Echoing Adolf Hitler. It's crazy what's going on. I don't know if he said it like this, but they're quoting him. They're ruining our country. And it's true. They're destroying the blood of our country. That's what he said. Destroying the blood of our country. Racial language. But that's what they're doing. They're destroying our country. They don't like it when I said that. I've never read Mein Kampf, he says. Just a little reminder to the media there. Tuesday's ruling could help propel Trump back to the White House, emboldening his supporters who have embraced the former president's message. I mean, we've seen this, obviously. It's definitely emboldened his supporters. I always wonder what's the big play here? Trying to predict the big play from Democrats and Trump's enemies. Do they not see that all these legal battles and all what's going on, it looks like it's to the public, it looks like persecution and just emboldens them? Do they see that? Or are they betting on it dividing people enough? Or are they that blind and driven by hate? Hatred of the man and what he represents. Basically representing a changing of the, what do they call it? Changing of the guard. Changing of the guard. What I mean by that is changing of who runs America. He represents that. He's that much of a representation. Challenge to the ruling establishment. It really is. So, yeah, I wonder if they see that as the emboldening and have bet against it, thinking they'll win, or are they that blinded? They'll think this will get him. And then it doesn't. He keeps fighting. Nothing's stopping him. Well, this will get him. Almost making it like a biblical thing. Spiritual and biblical, if you think about it. To be blinded by hate to that level. So I wonder about the strategy sometimes. Up until the Colorado Supreme Court ruling, the numerous court-driven efforts to disqualify Trump from the ballot were not succeeding at blocking him from office. He's got all sorts of... This is being tried across the country, okay? There's all sorts of people trying this. It's been blocked over and over. with even the most liberal of judges, etc., thinking, yeah, well, we're not going to go there. Trump's own presidential, campaign, what's it called? Enemies? Should we call it enemies? Should we call it competitors? Saying themselves, yeah, this is too far. This is just not right. I think Chris Christie said that. And even a Democrat, or at least he's running as independent, I believe now. The Kennedy that's running for president said something like that as well. So you got to understand, it's all sorts of stuff. One state court after another ruled against the lawsuits. Even in Colorado, the trial judge concluded last month that Trump had engaged in an insurrection, but that Section 3 of the 14th Amendment's insurrectionist ban doesn't apply to the presidency. The anchor baby amendment, repeal the 14th, retroactively remove citizenships. I know, kind of spicy, I know. Seems kind of far, but that's just kind of my thing. Maybe it sounds ridiculous, but it's kind of based in reality. If you think about it, it's kind of sincere. Like, repeal the 14th, remove the citizenships, and let the patriot Americans decide what to do with the country after. Right? It's only fair. And decide what to do with the people. Is that a pipe dream? Will the patriots come into power? Anyways, talking about the 14th Amendment here, the one they're using against Trump. So basically how it went down in Colorado is that the Supreme Court concluded before this ruling yesterday or Monday. No, yesterday. Before this ruling, the Colorado Supreme Court concluded that Trump had engaged in insurrection. They were just unclear about the part of the amendment that bans people from holding office. And this particular section of the amendment dealt with, essentially, was a post-Civil War thing. And it was meant to bar, like, the Confederates from running. So it's kind of silly, if you think about it, to use this 100 years later. The same way that it's silly to be using the same amendment 100 years later to let anybody, any old person, any old anchor baby born in American soil to be a full-fledged American citizen. It's been abused. Let's be real, folks. It's been abused to no end. At the border, all sorts of stuff. You got people who just plop their baby in an American hospital and enjoy the milk and honey. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. It's a crime. It's unfair. It's not law and order. What more can I say? But this section of the 14th Amendment dealt with, it was supposed to bar these Confederates from running, holding office. So it's just the wrong usage of the whole thing. It doesn't apply. These aren't Confederates. These aren't Confederates. And I'm going to show you a clip here in a moment where people are trying to make that argument. January 6th, Republicans trumped that these are basically like Confederates. It's incredible. 14th Amendment, misusing the amendment, of course, the same way my family very fairly abused, strange usage of the word fairly, abused the 14th Amendment to give your host his citizenship, the American anchor baby. It's a shame, really. 14th Amendment. They're going after him like crazy. Do you even know the timeline? Have you been following it at all? When you really lay it out, 4 criminal investigations. You know, the classified documents in Florida. Mar-a-Lago. The FBI raided the man's property. That was a historical first. Fulton County, 2020 election, the whole electors thing. The most perfect phone call. He had the most amazing, beautiful phone call. They're trying to put him in jail for that. January 6th with Jack Smith. Alvin Bragg's criminal case. All people who hate him. The civil investigations. Letitia James in New York. Jean Carroll. This crazy old bat who went on TV talking about rape is sometimes... I remember Anderson Cooper. Jean Carroll, crazy old bat, trying to say Trump like raped her or something crazy like that. Hearsay. They spied on my campaign. Remember that? That was 2016. To really get the full breadth of the whole situation, you got to go to 2016. And the FBI spying on his campaign. They spied on my campaign. I'm laughing at the chat here. Typing in classified documents. As performed by Hake. Look, it's just crazy. They spied on my campaign. Anyways, Confederate spirit. I want to show you this. The stretch, man. The rhetoric they're using to really, make this bigger than it is. Right? Because the whole thing's like a criminal indictment. We're supposed to see this man now as a big old, how can he be president? How can he be a president? He's a criminal. But look at them try and stretch the 14th Amendment and the context that it was, in the context of the 14th Amendment 100 years ago, and try and do all these gymnastics to try and justify it today and justify their hatred of a man today. Let's watch. Oh, what the? Give me one sec. This sound is supposed to be coming out of another place. Is it working now? What the heck? Bill! Folks, this is unprecedented on the show here. Not something I quite understand. I thought I had everything correct here. I'm not sure why I can't show you this clip. Billy, why can't I show the people this clip? Oh, maybe I fixed it.
Republican candidate.
There you go. Anchor baby on it. I figured it out. Okay, folks, here's the media. MSNBC, Trump, and everything we've been talking about. Watch.
To the Republican candidate's argument that...
If I could just offer some more context. This woman here, this black woman here on the right, it's all good, Bill. I figured it out. This is my bad. This woman on the right is responding to the criticisms from Republicans saying that the Colorado Supreme Court went too far or is just wrong about doing this and their ruling. She's responding to that criticism.
To the Republican candidate's argument that the voters should have the say and not the courts.
Why are you standing with Confederates who betrayed this country? And this is what they're standing with, is the spirit of those Confederates rather than the Americans who came together after a long and brutal civil war that was fought to keep the Union together, and clearly saw a threat in ex-Confederates running for office, so much so that they amended the Constitution to prevent those traitors from running for office. That should send a message that
She's talking all halting and slow like the anchor baby when he's doing his show.
Our election system, our electoral system, can be used for nefarious purposes against the democracy itself. It's clear. It's clear as day.
Clear as day, she says. Clear as day. It's clear as day. That's why they did this 100 years ago, to stop Trump. They did the 14th Amendment 100 years ago, and the whole thing was for this moment. It was for this moment to stop Trump. It's just it's just so rich. All of a sudden, people on MSNBC are all these constitutionalists all of a sudden, and stretching this to try and make us care about the Confederate spirit. Remember the Confederate spirit? The racists, those people, the losers. If this is the spirit of what opposes the Confederates, I don't want no part of it. You know, they say they were slave owners and all these horrible things, but I hear they were also honorable men. Right? Like I think most were at that time, at least more than today, right? And so this is not a spirit I wanted to do with. All angry and speaking halting, trying to figure it out as she goes, stretching her lies, stretching the truth to try and encompass the Confederates and Trump all together 100 years. See, tie it all up with a nice bow tie, and that's why we got to get rid of him. And that's why we have to reconstruct the red states. You see what's going on here? That's why they did that, right, 100 years ago? These people betrayed the country. The Confederates who betrayed the country, they're barred from running. And we need to now we need imperial power to reconstruct the states. I'm hearing a beeping outside. I'm hoping everything's okay out in the office and no bombs or I'm just hearing like a loud beeping out there with the folks. Sorry about that. Yeah, you see what I'm saying here? The rhetoric. It's just very, very rich to just be using the constitutional arguments all of a sudden. And I will get to my calls. Thank you for the patience. I'll get to calls here in a moment. 888-775-3773. I want to just finish this up here with the Colorado Supreme Court. I want to tell you a little bit about them. You know about the story. But here, you've probably even seen the faces. The faces of who did this. The enemies, they're saying. Don't, so you may know the face of the enemy. Some are saying. Encircled in this picture out of the 7, here are the 4 Supreme Court justices of the Colorado Supreme Court that basically they saw this fit. They saw this made sense. This whole thing they're trying to do here, they saw it. It made sense to them. Made total sense. Revealed the 4 Democrat-picked Colorado justices who booted Trump off the ballot. An Ivy League scholar, a gay icon, and a jazz musician. Oh, no. It had to be these jazz musicians, man. These freaking jazz musicians, man. I'm sick of these jazz musicians. They're always they're always so syncopated and they flout the rules. They learn the rules just so they could break them. They're off the beaten path. These jazz musicians, man. Jazz musicians, man. Always trying to do it different, improvise. Dude, calm down. It's these freaking jazz musicians, man. I like jazz. I got into jazz younger. It is kind of degenerate. Some say it's heroin music. Whatever, it's smart, okay? Jazz is, I like the technical stuff of it all. Okay, I like the whole technical thing. Musicians are liberal, clearly. Musicians are absolutely liberal, let's be real. All into the sensual stuff, all into the sensuality. Maybe that's why they were into the heroin, into the heroin, because they never figured out how to deal with that sensual thing they got so into when they were kids and throughout their lives. But anyways, jazz musicians, gay icons, and Ivy League scholars. A lot of women in this picture in the Supreme Court. And you might think, well, but it's still majority male, Nick. There's still majority men on the Supreme Court here. But here's the problem. Here's something I've noticed. I don't know if you've noticed this, but something I've noticed with groups and organizations. If there is a significant amount of women, you can bet your bottom dollar that the men in that organization are basically women too. Even if they outnumber the women. More often than not, I would like to add to Robert Conquest's laws of politics. Robert Conquest, I've mentioned his laws of politics before. He said his laws of politics, the first one being, everyone is conservative over what they know best. He also said any organization not explicitly right-wing sooner or later becomes left-wing. Third, the simplest way to explain the behavior of any bureaucratic organization is to assume that it is controlled by a cabal of its enemy. And if I may add a fourth one, Robert Conquest, if I may add a fourth one, any organization with over 30% women in significant roles, you can assume that the other 70% of men are most likely female-minded men. Hey, what's up, Birdie Bound Brian? Thank you for that. You can assume the other 70% are female-minded men. Let's be real. So, Robert Conquest, if I may add a fourth law to your laws of politics. This is a law, okay? It's a fact. Anyways, Supreme Court. This woman, a short-haired woman, is the gay icon, apparently. And now, I don't know about you, but when I look at things kind of like simply, it seems to me like there's just like two sides. Like you're either with Trump or against him. And the ones against him, very, very common, very common. They have very common distinguishing, I don't know, descriptions. The description of those against Trump are quite similar, as is those with him. And why is it like female? It's always a very feminine. It's a very feminine energy, a very pink-haired, very shaved side head energy, very gay energy, a very angry female energy. These are the energies. These are the energies that are on the anti-Trump side. You might think I'm too simple. You may see me as way too simple in that, or you have a political show talking about politics and you're just saying for Trump or against Trump. Come on, have a little nuance, Nick. But I think this is true. I think this is true. If you just pay attention, it's a spiritual battle, and there really is two sides, good versus evil. Now, that doesn't mean you go around and judging and picking who's on what side, like you're God or something, okay? Calm down. But I'm just saying, Supreme Court in Colorado, the way this went down is it was a lawsuit filed by some liberal, like radical left organization called Crew. They call themselves Crew. Crew. Which stands for what? I forget. The Citizens, here it is. Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics. Lord. I know that sounds good, but usually that's not good. Oh, Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, which is a misnomer, honestly. It's a oxymoron. I don't know what's the literary term I'm trying to mention here, but it's one of those. You're telling me there's ethics and responsibility in Washington? That's a joke, right? You're playing around. So this Crew, who's affiliated, by the way, with George Soros. They got Soros money. They're affiliated with Media Matters. These are America-hating, left-wing groups who put countless money behind what? To take away your vote. The citizen's vote. The citizen in Colorado. There's nothing good about that. And look who's teamed up with Crew or who Crew cajoled into this whole thing. It's women. This one woman is on the front page of CNN. She goes by the name of 𝒔𝒐𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔, a Republican, apparently, for 30 years, an active Republican in Colorado. 𝒔𝒐𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔 here.
Here right now, �𝒐𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔, a longtime Colorado.
Explains this longtime Colorado Republican, explains why she teamed up with Crew to go after Trump.
Republican, who is one of the plaintiffs in this case. I'm glad that you're both here with me tonight. This is very significant. I want to begin with you, Krista, if we can, because you were actually censured by your county GOP for even being a part of this lawsuit. So what is your reaction to the ruling tonight?
Well, I only laughed about the censure. I've been a Republican for probably 30 years, highly active, ran for office myself, very committed. My time and treasure has gone to that party, so the censure was kind of amusing.
Involved.
I'm very, very happy about tonight's ruling. I know there's going to be an appeal, but this is really about rule of law. It's about the Constitution. The Constitution is very clear. if a person engages in insurrection, having taken an oath of office to the Constitution, tries then to undermine that very document by fomenting an insurrection as Trump did on January 6th, that
so rule of law,
person is ineligible.
It's rule of law, she says. That's how this 30-year Republican for 30 years woman, that's her criteria. I mean, I'm clearly not the one to explain this or do this. I don't have the words but I just know it's Trump, man. You guys gotta have to be ridiculous to think that this is a law and order thing. And to really even think any of this is important. Any of these legal cases, I mean. Let's say he took the documents. Let's say everything they say is true. He took the documents. He called the electors, hey, you can't do it. I disagree with the results. You can't do it. Let's say he called the electors. Let's say he lied about how much Mar-a-Lago was worth. Jeez. Let's say he lied about taxes. You're telling me that's going to stop you? You're going to go with who? Who are you going to go with? Who are you going to go with? That's going to stop. No, you hate him. Then. And I was reading some of this, and then I'll get to calls right after this. I was reading the text of the decision from the Colorado Supreme Court here. And if you actually read the text here, there's some incredible things here. There's some pretty incredible, I'm going to need a lawyer or something to help me because that looks incredible to me as a layman. Blind lady justice, they say, right? Holding scales. Well, here's the Colorado Supreme Court. Here's some of the text from the decision. I want you guys can tell me what you think. President Trump persisted in rejecting the election results, 2020, telling his supporters that, this is all text from the decision, telling his supporters that they won in a landslide. He urged his supporters to confront this egregious assault on democracy, walk down to the Capitol and show strength. They're quoting Trump. If you don't fight like hell, you won't have a country anymore. It's so amazing because they quote him. They quote Trump and leave out other quotes. Some lawyers may call this exculpatory evidence. You know what I'm saying here? A little legal word there, exculpatory evidence. You know, evidence that might say you're innocent. And not only is it exculpatory, but it's factual. He said to go peacefully. He said patriotically and peacefully. Now, why would a Supreme Court justice, blind lady justice, who cares about the truth, leave such things out? Let's say you just didn't like Trump, but you were going to be a Supreme Court person about facts and all. You wouldn't leave that out if you were an honest person. Even if you dislike Trump and all that. You would want to go after him with the facts in the correct way. Why leave that out? Peaceful and patriotic. It's completely left out of the text. They go on and to talk about the January 6th report, okay? Because a big part of this Supreme Court decision in Colorado centered around, did Trump engage in an insurrection or not? I mean, you got to prove that for part first before you get to take him off the ballot for that very same thing, right? It goes without saying that I don't remember any conclusion from a legal case that concluded that he in fact did an insurrection. I don't remember that. Do you? So if you go into the text here about that part in this decision, they talk about the January 6th report. The committee, remember the committee that put forth this report? It was Liz Cheney and others. This same report was contested as admissible evidence due to the claims that these people were biased against Trump. So let me read the text here from the decision. The district court found that the testimony on this subject, the January 6th committee, to be credible, and any perceived animus from the committee toward President Trump did not taint the conclusions of the report. They put that in the decision of the Colorado Supreme Court decision. Liz Cheney, Adam Schiff, you're telling me these people They're animus from the committee towards any perceived animus. It gets even crazier if you when you get into this part about hearsay. In a court of law, this is my understanding of the term hearsay. Hearsay is just someone heard that someone said. So it's not evidence, it's just hearsay. Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, there's this big thing, there's this big hearsay that has to do with Trump's legal troubles, where this Chief of Staff Mark Meadows alleges that he told the White House special counsel, and he alleges that Trump said he doesn't want anything to do, he doesn't want to do anything to stop the violence. This is just hearsay. Mark Meadows heard from you see what I'm saying here? The special counsel heard from Mark Meadows, and Mark Meadows heard Trump say hearsay. And you look at the text of this decision in Colorado, and this is what they say. This is what they say. Chief of Staff Mark Meadows told White House special counsel that Trump said he doesn't want to do anything to stop the violence. President Trump's hearsay argument is unavailing. That's lawyer speak for we're not convinced that this is just hearsay. Even though it's like on its face hearsay. Unless I'm not understanding something here and a lawyer wants to call me. That is on its face hearsay. And in the text of this decision, the Supreme Court is telling the country, yeah, we're okay with that. We conclude the district court did not abuse its discretion by admitting portions of the January 6th report. And then they go on here and they say, we have little difficulty concluding that substantial evidence shows the events of January 6th constituted an insurrection. So they concluded that in their little Supreme Court crap. Okay, so he did do an insurrection. Ignoring the peaceful protesters, ignoring the open doors that day, ignoring the cops letting people in, like all questions that people had that we weren't allowed to deal with, investigate. Aren't people allowed to have questions? That's essentially what Trump had. He had questions. You're telling me he's not allowed to say, I don't agree with the. And what law is he breaking by saying, I don't think the 2020 election was on the up and up or whatever? Should Trump say that or anybody else say that? What law is being broken there? Contrary to President, this is the final text here, and then I'll get to calls from this decision here. Contrary to President Trump's assertion that no evidence in the record show that the mob was armed or that it attacked law enforcement in a manner consistent with an insurrection, you gotta love lawyers, the district court found that millions of people saw on live television that the mob was armed with a wide array of weapons. Okay, so the Colorado Supreme Court is now using me. They've now brought me into the case, saying that millions of people saw that this mob was armed. You didn't ask me. I saw people, yeah, maybe they had flagpoles and stuff, but I didn't see guns. It's just more of this language to try and make January 6th more than what it was. To try and make what Trump is dealing with more than what it was. Why do you have to keep making things more than what it was to try and get to Trump? It seems like it seems evil. You know what I'm saying here? It just seems evil. No, it is, Lear. It is evil. So that's kind of what's been going down. Rule of law, okay, out the window. There are people running the show, hateful women running the show in these different states, willing to throw. It's an amazing precedent when you think about it. Let's just make up stuff to try and get this guy off the ballot. Now we're seeing breaking news out of California. California Lieutenant Governor Eleni Kounalakis calls on the Secretary of State to begin exploring ways to remove Trump from the 2024 ballot. It's an amazing precedent set, and they're trying to keep him from even running, from just running. Shouldn't that tell you everything? Shouldn't that tell you everything? The people who love democracy and all the voting, and they love is love, and we need to be equal, and democracy is being attacked, and we must defend democracy. Wouldn't they want to use democracy to win this fight? Use the very same democracy you're defending to beat Trump fair and square. But hey, they know otherwise. That's the problem here. And they've known since 2016. It's crazy. It's amazing, really. Amazing times we're living in. 888-775-3773. Let me get to calls here. But real quick, right before I get to my calls here, let me just thank my super chatters. I've seen your super chats. Thank you. Harmony says, being a Christian isn't for sissies. It takes a real man to live for God. A lot more man than to live for the devil. Quote from Johnny Cash. Right on, Harmony. Thank you for that. Right on. Hey, what's up, DJ 2020? Thank you for that. Crazy. Crazy. Trump fought like hell for that border wall. Yeah, I agree, Hake, in my chat. Trump did fight like hell. The first thing Biden did was to halt the construction of the wall. The same, I know it wasn't finished. Okay, I know it wasn't finished. Where's the wall? Where's the wall? You mean the wall that Biden halted the construction of day one? The wall you think is not being built? Anyways, I don't know how to talk to people sometimes. I got Mark out of California. What a mess. Thank you for your call, Mark. You're on the air.
Yes, sir. Thank you for taking my call. I don't know really where to start, but first of all, the good news is that when this Colorado court case goes to the Supreme Court and they throw it out, which they will, if they don't, then we don't have a democracy anymore. But again, the good news is
what do you? Sorry, go on. The good news is what?
That if they were able to overturn the criminals on the court there in Colorado, all states, including the communists who run California, won't be able to take Trump's name off because the Supreme Court will rule that he was not an insurrectionist and he was never charged nor convicted, and they know that they're going to lose. Those rats in Colorado know they're going to lose. They're trying to make a name for themselves. Trump will beat this, and furthermore, I think Trump will win presidential immunity on the bogus January 6th case that he's up against with this creep Jack Smith. But if I could say this, if you let me, in regards to the phone call that
I want to get into that phone call, Mark. I just wanted to respond real quick. It's just isn't that such a like a communist democratic way of operating? They seem to be totally okay with doing historical moves in the political world that won't win, but they know what they're doing. They're trying to move the needle, and they're trying to put it in the heads of other states that they could do something like this. They know that. I think I agree with you mainly that I think they know that it most likely will be overturned. We don't really know what'll happen. But isn't that such a democratic way of operating? Let's push something through, even though it'll lose, just so that we could move the needle and counter signal and subvert.
Well, I mean, you're dealing with pure evil. These leftist judges and lawyers are the epitome of Satan on earth. They're trying to take Trump off the ballot because they can't beat him. But one of the things that I want to say here is, although they are going after Trump, their main motivation is to destroy white Christian America. This is their ultimate goal. And they have to eliminate Trump in order to do that, to weaken the white man's voice. And I wanted to get to that phone call this morning from that clown, Bill, that idiot that called, hey, I wish I
mentioned his call, too, in fact, on my show at the beginning, so I don't mind you talking about it. Bill, a caller on the Hake Report earlier today.
Yeah, he's just another evil, phony intellect who's asking these stupid questions. He won't answer any questions, but he asks a bunch of garbage questions like, why do you, I think one of the things he said was, what difference does it make if I mate with a non-white? Well, the problem is it'll amalgamate all the races together. The white race will die out, which is what Bill's motivation is. And for the call, that was his motivation. And I want to.
You think that's his motive? Wait, what's his motivation again?
To destroy the white race through.
You think that's what was Bill's motivation? The caller?
Oh hell yeah!
Really?
Sorry.
No, don't worry about that.
I think so. Yeah.
What makes you say that?
By the tone, you can tell by the tone of his voice, by the questions he was asking, trying to put Hake on the spot. But let me just say this real quick.
Go ahead.
I personally believe, and Hake even made mention of this, the reason that evil man Bill called in was because he heard me 2 calls before his talking to Hake about intermarriage and the evil that it presents. And that's what I believe. I mean, it's just a personal opinion.
I wouldn't doubt that. You know, I wouldn't doubt that if he's talking about listening to the show, looking at the chat, and reacting to all of it. So I wouldn't doubt that your call also got him to call.
He said on his call, he said that that Hake should not allow racists to get on his show. When they say that, they're communists, whether they're a member of the party or not. If they want to stifle free speech of white people, they're going to take everybody's free speech away. And on that interracial marriage thing, it was illegal until 1967.
Oh, really?
And
in America?
Well, in the southern states.
Oh, okay.
They had laws prohibiting intermarriage because it led to mongrelization.
And what's mongrelization?
Oh,
I don't know if I've ever heard that word, but I can glean the meaning. Mongrelization of Americans, of the white race.
Of course, that's their motivation. And in the history of the world, every country that has melted together with race mixing has failed. The Phoenicians. Now I won't disagree. They were bred out of existence because of race mixing.
Who was?
And these people
the
know
Phoenicians?
This clown Bill. Pardon?
Who'd you say was?
The Phoenicians, the ones who invented the alphabet and contributed to civilization. Yeah, they were bred out of existence. I don't know what race.
An ancient Semitic maritime civilization. No way. Shout out to the Semites.
Yeah, the Phoenicians.
So
but the point is, the whole motivation, for that man's call was to try to degrade and humiliate the people who call in like me and hate what's going on in this country. And this Supreme Court thing will be overturned. I'm pretty confident of that. And I also think that President Trump will win his case for immunity on the presidential immunity on the J6 deal. Jack Smith is a thug. Did you notice how that guy, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was, maybe it was a different caller, but one of the callers was actually talking about what a great guy Jack Smith was.
For real?
Tells you, yeah, maybe not Bill. It may not have been Bill. It may have been another call that I got confused with on that. But a lot of these people who hate Trump, really, they don't hate Trump. They hate his supporters. It's the supporters of Trump who they really hate.
Yeah, they hate when they think for themselves.
Pardon me?
They hate when they think for themselves.
Right. And it just, they tried. I better not say it. I don't want to get your station in trouble. I just feel that the elections, this is just a personal opinion. I don't think the elections were fair. And I think it's fair to say that the deep state rigged the 2020 thing. I don't mean with machines or any of that stuff, although I question that too. I'm talking about the fact that
if you ask any authority on this, will say it's the most up and up election of all time. But I mean, Mark, many people have the same questions you have. And it's kind of unfair that they never got to be explored, if you really think about it.
Well, no, but I mean, it's obvious the CIA covered for Biden. Well, and not just the CIA, but all those creeps, the so-called protectors of democracy are really the globalist, elitist, evil traitors that are trying to keep Trump in the presidency. I'm talking FBI, CIA, NSA. They are all on the cover-up of Hunter Biden. And if it's been proven that if that had come out and they would have substantiated it, Trump would have won. But they wanted to keep the lie going because they hated Trump and they hate his voters and they hate America. They want to continue to control us through the globalist elite. I just wish I could have got a minute with that Bill guy on the phone. I mean, just his tone. Did you notice his tone?
A little bit.
I hope he's listening to my voice right now. He's an arrogant, self-hating white trash.
So was he white?
That's my feeling about who he was. Pardon me?
Was he white? I forget if he said as much.
Well, he wouldn't answer the question.
Oh yeah, I remember he wouldn't answer. So I wanted to ask you about Bill, though. I find this I kind of find this interesting since you're talking about that caller. You said that Bill's motivation is what again?
It's to mongrelize the white race.
Here's my thing about that. I can't disagree with you that Bill has at least teamed up with those people. But Bill, to me, didn't strike me as that kind of person. He struck me as more just kind of like your average white person who just doesn't like racism and all that. And so it's a little bit. And I don't say this to say like you're wrong with what you're saying here, Mark. But I say this because we have to, I guess, to get out of all of this. How do we get out of hatred? And how do we get out of white people hating themselves? And how do we get out of all this? Well, we have to understand. We have to first understand it. And I don't think Bill is out here. He's just like one of these people who got brainwashed and believed into the racism crap. And so he's teamed up with all the people who call white people racist. But just to be more accurate, I don't think he's out here trying to mongrelize the white race. He seems like he seems like a white person that you should have love for, that you should try and because they are brainwashed.
Well, I mean, he kept asking the question, "What's wrong with mixing?" And I wish I could have got there. I wanted to scream at the phone,
right?
Because Hake didn't answer that the way I wish I could have. And you know, I just felt that his tone and his questions, to me, seemed a little arrogant and condescending. And I think his motivation was to make Hake look bad. Because if you remember, in the conversation, he denounced Hake for allowing people that he called racist to have a forum to speak.
Right.
You see, and that's where the communist part comes in. Anytime they want to take away...
Fair enough. Fair enough. I think that's fair.
Anytime they want to take away your freedom of speech, like they're trying to do with Trump on this gag order nonsense, they're just trying to suppress free speech because they're communists. They're totalitarians, authoritarians, and they don't know what else to do. They see Trump's becoming more popular than ever. I saw recently where he's the most popular presidential candidate in his career.
I see some of the even the liberal polls show him way ahead. Some of these liberal polls.
Yeah, and you have to remember that it's Obama, the devil, that's calling the shots in the Biden administration. Biden is too stupid and too demented to make the decisions that he's making.
These are high-level decisions. Oh, my bad.
No, it's okay. But I'm just saying that I believe that the decisions that this dope is making is coming straight from Obama. Yeah. Obama lives somewhere he has several homes, but he took up residence somewhere in the Washington, D.C. area. And I saw an interview where he even admitted that he wanted to be able to just make a phone call and pull the string. The man's evil. He's pure evil. The face of Satan is what I see in Obama. And the people that support him don't want us around. And you mentioned how are we going to get rid of all this racism, blah, blah, blah. There's only two solutions. Either we're going to get genocided or we're going to run things. And I don't see us running things.
I hear you, man. But I think it's not impossible. But it'll only be possible if white people, for example, or American patriots, they also remove the same, because you're calling these people evil, right? The pure evil, Biden and all that. Well, you're saying there's two options, either genocide or running things. Well, the running things option is still viable, but only if the people who want to run things themselves aren't evil. And the evil is in the heart. It's in the heart, and it's anger. It's what we talk about here. And I agree with what you're saying, Mark. I don't disagree at all. I implore white people, people who love, people who are Christian, people who love America, to not get into the same hate and anger that the enemy is, or you'll be no different, and you will not beat them.
I think, what I wanted to say here, when you showed the picture of Haley and her daughter and son-in-law, you showed it right at lunchtime, and I couldn't eat. When I saw that, I just had to put my food away. You know, I knew she was no good, but showing that picture just shows who she really is. And I don't think she has a chance of winning, no matter how much the rhinos.
You talking about
even the Democrats
picture with her daughter?
Yeah, the wedding picture.
The wedding picture where Nikki Haley's holding onto her daughter's husband.
Yeah, Nimrod.
Yeah, Nimrod. I was more offended by the way she was holding onto his arm.
Me too. I was too. But it just shows who she is. I mean, it shows she got away with the Confederate flag.
Yeah.
She hates Trump. I mean, she could say she doesn't. But I like the way Vivek Ramaswamy put it out. He said that in regards to the Colorado decision, if all the other candidates drop out of Colorado, they won't have a primary, and that'll throw everything off.
Yeah. So he's in solidarity with Trump.
Right. Now, Christie said that it was wrong for them to take him off the ballot, but I didn't hear him say that he would boycott the primary. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure about DeSantis either, but Haley won't. Nikki Haley won't. She's probably rubbing her hands in glee.
I know.
Oh, no.
I saw DeSantis respond. He said something about it. He didn't mention Trump. You know, it was only Vivek who I saw. He's saying he's going to boycott the whole thing. And, you know, to me, that just, it's my opinion. I may have heard this opinion elsewhere as well. This is just my opinion, but I don't think Vivek really is a Trump guy, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
He's really a Trump guy. He's really just running as kind of like, I don't know, to keep the Trump spirit in the primary where they're keeping him out, where he's not participating in. It's my opinion. I don't think he really would want to take the presidency from Trump.
I like the idea of him putting out the challenge to those other three, Nimrod and Christie and DeSantis.
Big time.
That they should drop out of Colorado. Now let's see if they do. Personally, I think they should all, including Vivek, they should all just drop out and all unify behind President Trump.
Yeah, that is 100% the move. Done. But and the fact that they're not has really said a lot about them.
Well, in the case of Haley and Haley and DeSantis both said they would not oppose President Trump, and if he ran again. This is back in, I guess, in 2020. They said that they wouldn't oppose him when he ran for president again. I'm not sure what year it was. I know Haley said it, and I know DeSantis said it.
Wow.
Yet there they are running against him. I'm sure Haley said it.
Mark, incredible, man. Incredible stuff. We'll see what 2024 brings. Should be an incredible year.
Yeah.
Last thing you want to say before we move the wheels here, Mark?
Well, last thing is the fact, I think I mentioned it yesterday, that the LAPD's on the verge of graduating its first illegal alien from the police academy. What a disgrace to America. And they're having a problem. It was Gavin Newsom's idea, by the way. Newsom was the one who pushed for that. He was this idiot DACA guy is the one that's graduating the first illegal alien in his class. And they're trying to do that in other states. One of the problems they're having is getting them a gun, because illegals can't. But they're working it out so they can get a gun. At the same time, these same evil people are working to take our guns away.
Yep.
They're working to take our guns, American citizens, away and allow illegal aliens who shouldn't even be here, let alone be on police departments or in the military, to make a special carve out for them to have a gun.
To arrest Americans, that does not make sense. I've seen some of the reasoning for this is the lack of police officers. Do you think there's really that much? Do you really think they're lacking in manpower that badly? They need to give it to illegals, or is that just a ploy?
That's just the excuse.
That's just an excuse, you think?
Ploy. Oh, absolutely.
Because I read about that recruitment and all that is way down with the police, especially after defund the police and all that. But I don't care how low. That doesn't mean you get to do this.
Not at all. They shouldn't even be in the country. What are they even being allowed to take the test for?
Yeah.
And in regards to the military, Dick Durbin, the communist, he wants to put him in the military too. And he used that same excuse, well, we can't meet our goals. Well, if they would throw out the LGBT nonsense and the politically correct garbage that they're forcing on our soldiers, maybe they'd meet their requirement, their goals. The illegals don't care about that. They're just here for a free meal.
Right. They'll be willing to go along with that.
Heck yeah, they'll go along with communism.
Big time.
They don't know anything about our Bill of Rights or our Constitution.
Big time.
Give a dog about that. They just want to take over, and Biden wants them to secure his elections for these communists and Marxists for the next century. We're not going to have a country. We're not going to have a country unless Trump somehow wins and at least put the brakes on it for a while. Maybe he could.
At least, right? At least. And what
Yeah.
can we, and what, that is so true. At least that. And I think the best thing we can do for Trump, because it's like Trump's out there fighting for us and doing the things, going through all the things. There's stuff that we could do. I mean, we just got to watch ourselves, overcome anger so that we could be the best on the side of good for real, etc.
Right. Well, they're trying to throw Trump supporters in jail. The FBI is still looking for people who were at the January 6th thing. I got a news notice from a group that supports President Trump, and in the email that I got, it said that the FBI is putting all of its efforts now into stopping Trump. They're even taking men away from child predator investigations and terrorist investigations to go after President Trump. Yeah, that's how evil. That's the kind of evil we're up against. It's like Ramaswamy Vivek said the other day. It's the deep state. It's not the Republicans. It's not even the Democrats. It's the deep state that are public enemy number one, and that are doing the most to put people away. These CIA agents are buying $1 million homes around the country. They don't make that much money. They deal in
that's
international
crazy.
law enforcement.
You think about these
Scary.
politicians, they come out of Congress, they come out of this millionaires. It's crazy.
Yep.
Mark, man,
Yep.
I got to move on here. Appreciate your call, though.
Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
Call me
Bye-bye.
again. What a mess. What a mess. Anyways, we cannot be angry, though, right? What can we do? What can we do while Trump is fighting, while they're putting the J6ers in prison, while they're putting Owen Schroyer, he's now out, in prison? What can we do, huh? How can we improve ourselves? A lot of leave it up to Trump kind of happened when he became president. A lot of that happened. A lot of giving we got the guy, we got our guy, but working on ourselves kind of went down, kind of went out the window. For some people, not everybody. But we got to bring the energy and stay working on ourselves so that, because it's not just, right? It's not just Trump, it's us. You can't just sit back and just walk. You can't just sit back and, I'm not saying go out into the streets and fight. I'm just saying work on yourself. You can't just sit back while this person we support, we say he loves us, we say he's fighting for us, and we're just going to sit back and not work on ourselves? Anyways, what I want to show you next, I wanted to show you, how am I going to even present this? I don't even know how I'm going to present this. Kanye West, he went on a big old rant recently. They're saying it's a big old rant. 10-minute, 12-minute rant that's gone viral on Instagram and whatnot. They're saying he dissed everybody in a heated rant on Instagram, exposing the gatekeepers sabotaging Vultures album. I talked about this recently. Kanye West releasing a new album. I don't know did he ever release it? Is Vultures out? Vultures. We love Vultures, right? Vultures album by Kanye West. Yay, West. He did this like performance recently, a listening party, if you call it, where he performed some singles, some songs off of this new album, even performed besides Little Northwest, performing her own song next to her father, next to her dad, talking about, how can I be anti-Semitic? I just had personal relations, my good sir, with this young and beautiful Jewish lady. Now, how could I now? This is I believe this is a song off of Vultures, Kanye West's new album. I believe it goes something like, well, now how could I be anti-Semitic, good sir? I just had relations with this fine Jewish individual. It's something like that. I believe his song goes something like that. Kanye West disses everybody in heated rant. How am I even going to show this to you? I definitely don't want to go through 10 minutes of rant. No. But it's really the beginning that's interesting to me. The first kind of few minutes here. How should I do this? Should I skip around or should I just go in hardcore like Kanye West? Shout out to Trump Gonzalez. You know what? Let's just go into this video and see if we can pick out the parts that I found interesting, because it's somewhere in this 10 minutes. And it's definitely in the first 4 or so minutes where he talks about his family a little bit. He talks about people after him. He talks about even the people in this very room where he's ranting. I found some of this quite interesting. Just a little bit, I guess. Okay, this might be a little bit of a mess. We might have to do a little hunting. And there's some swearing in this. I know the sun is up. It's lunchtime for many. A little too early for all this swearing.
No, none of y'all here with no Instagram, nobody living, nobody at, and I don't want to hear shit from none of these Jewish niggas talk about, oh, he's in an episode. Harley Pasternak follow me to the fucking hotel. The nigga killed Aaron Carter, and now they acting like they won't clear the Backstreet Boys sample. You get what I'm saying? Harley Pasternak, pusher, your trainer. Harley Pasternak.
I will do my best. I've not followed the. I know some of you have, but I don't know the deepness of the saga. And I don't know, so I may not know everything he's talking about. It may be a little crazy, so my apologies, but follow me here. He's talking about that person who was like a doctor to him. Maybe a mental therapist type person. Harley Pasternak, who, a personal trainer of some sort, okay? He had said recently that this person was trying to put him in a medical facility and other things like that.
You get what I'm saying? And they hang around these niggas just for the money or some Mike Rubin shit. I slap the shit out of Mike Rubin. I see that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, fuck these.
Don't worry. If you're not following, I understand. It's a little strange. If you're not following, there may be many things you're not following, but soon he'll be talking about his family, and it's quite fascinating.
Niggas, you know what I'm saying? I'm on my Farrakhan Don shit right now, bro. Because
I thought Farrakhan, I don't know if you really want to be like that guy, man. I don't know if you've read Scam, How the Black Leadership, something. It's a book by Jesse Lee Peterson. Yeah, I don't know if you really want to be getting into the Farrakhan stuff, man. Scam, How the Black Leadership Exploits Black America.
guess what? These Yeezys gonna sell. Yeah. They sabotaged the show today. They sabotaged the Instagram. They cut off the fucking Adidas contract.
They cut off the Adidas contract. If you remember on my show, I was reminding all of you that the media seems to remember this Adidas Yeezy saga a little differently. If you remember, the media was saying that the Adidas dropped Yeezy over Kanye West's so-called anti-Semitic comments, and we went over the timeline. It was not DEFCON 3 and anti-Semitism that caused them to drop Yeezy. It was the fact that he wore a White Lives Matter shirt. And we pretty much confirmed that on my show, going over the timeline. It was White Lives Matter. It wasn't anti-Semitism. Oh, DEFCON 3. No, it was a shirt that said White Lives Matter. And that was like, whoa, media attention, drop this guy. We don't want this guy around us. We don't want this person involved with us at all today. Let's remember that correctly. I mean, it's kind of amazing when you think about it, that that's really what got them to drop Yeezy.
Oh, shit. Then they want to go get light-skinned Ye. You got to understand. That's Jerry. His real name is light-skinned Ye, bro.
No clue what he's talking about.
He told me that was his name. It was light-skinned Ye. They want the light-skinned version. They want a George Floyd. They want a Virgil. They're like, they don't let me speak at the funeral. I saw 2, 3, 4, 5 white people not let me speak at Virgil. None of y'all niggas and Drake, nigga. Hey, hold on. Be quiet while I'm talking, baby.
Is he talking to Bianca? Is he talking to his wife? Hey, you're beautiful. Look, baby, you're my baby, but you gotta shut up. I know you're my wife, but is he talking to Bianca? Bianca Sensori. We love Bianca. He remarried, I believe.
Drake, I love you. I'm gonna get the tattoo, but any of y'all niggas, Trav, Drake, whoever, y'all gotta show up. And don't tell me I'm talking crazy. I motherfucking Pharrell and me. Hey, come on. Me, Pharrell, we broke down this door. We all in this shit together. We all in this shit together. And we all dealing with a lot of... And what I'm telling you, a lot of people have shit to say about my Jewish comments, but ain't nobody in this motherfucking room, and none of y'all entertain niggas ever said nothing when I was praying to see my kids one of the last days.
So yeah, he starts going off on his crew here. None of you were with me, man. Why he's so mad? Asks Paul Mariana. None of y'all was with me. And now he's talking about his kids.
Said nothing when I was praying to see my kids one of the last days. What's my kid that got fucking locked up for the Mega Salad shit?
Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez.
Okay, look. So Tory Lanez called me. We were saying prayers. We were saying prayers on the phone together.
Okay, if you're not following, they're talking about saying prayers so he could see his kids, okay? I know, he's talking about Tory Lanez, other rappers, Farrakhan, bunch of confusing stuff. But it's okay. Amidst the chaos, there's a story here. Within the chaos, some of you probably are completely following because you know a little bit more about the Kanye West saga. But don't worry, you don't need to know all that. He's doing these prayers on the phone about his kids. Let's continue watching.
Tory Lanez called me. We were saying prayers. We were saying prayers on the phone together. And I prayed that day. And y'all saw that shit. And y'all saw when I couldn't see my kids, when I couldn't see Chicago too. All you niggas on Instagram got some shit to say. You saw this shit. Don't tell me about my fucking political opinion. I made more money to show you that money ain't nothing. It's our money, nigga. It's our country. It's like they stole it from us. It's pyramids, nigga.
It's pyramids. They stole it from us. So he starts getting into some, to be honest with you, hate, blame, and victimhood, if you ask me. If you ask me, he starts getting into a little bit of hate, blame, and victimhood. This was pyramids. They stole it from us.
It's pyramids. It's St. Louis, nigga, Missouri.
St. Louis, Missouri. They stole it from us.
They stole it. All the shit. America just the latest bitch that been ran through so many times. The Greeks hit her. Mansa Musa hit her. We had her. The Indians and shit.
I mean, you might be somewhat following this, but don't worry about this part.
Motherfucking pilgrims is the Jews. They dress the same.
Now, am I supposed to understand he's saying the pilgrims because they dress kind of Jewish, that they are the same? They are Jewish, or that it's the same thing, man? It's the same thing, man. The pilgrims, they dress like... I must not be understanding this part of the rant. Not too important.
Same shit. That's a story. They put us in the school. The Rothschilds. I know Jay-Z back here like, they go down now. I've been here for a year. They can't touch me. Why? Because God covered me. He covered me.
God got me.
Trump, we ain't giving you support.
God did. God did.
Unless you get Larry out. Unless you get Jeff out.
Unless you get Larry out. Unless you get Jeff out. Now, I believe he's talking about Larry Hoover, who's like a criminal. I believe he's talking about criminals here. Unless I'm not voting for, he said he's not voting for Trump. Unless you get Larry out.
We ain't giving.
I mean, you know, the man is up and down with many things.
Your support.
He's not giving Trump his support unless
Larry out.
You get Larry.
Unless you get Jeff out.
I don't know who Jeff is, but I'm pretty sure he's talking about Larry Hoover. I mean, these are criminals. These are criminals. From my cursory research on who these people are, I don't know if they should be let out of jail.
You understand what I'm saying? Because y'all politicians think y'all gonna just get our shit for free. All of a sudden, because you got a mugshot, you with us.
It's coming. It's coming. He's talking about his family here in a sec.
Colonizers. The French
talk about colonizers.
Own 80% of the banks in Africa. That's why I just met with NBA. Nigga, head of Saudi. Nigga, we don't have to bow to this shit, nigga.
Okay, let's skip a bit. There's a point coming. There's a point.
You don't know one person got abortion. Now I'll tell you, if it was in a Jewish mother on Friday with no, everybody raised their hands.
Hold up, where is it? Talk about soccer players already.
Wait a second. But wait a second. Who make the hospitals though? Who got the hospital? Christ, Hitler, yay. Third party, sponsor that.
He said Christ, Hitler, yay, sponsor that. Have fun sponsoring that.
Jesus Christ, Hitler, yay. Third party, sponsor that. Nigga. Yeah. Bring the sponsorships to that. Because
good luck.
Niggas that feel exactly like me.
Okay, right here.
I'm 730. I don't give a about.
I'm 730. I don't give a f about what I'm allowed to say or not.
For them, I get visitation with my kids. I ain't got no say so. No. Walk around look like soccer players. They don't even fucking know. They don't even know the dad, the kid. They'll see me come play one on nobody.
They still feel you.
Yeah.
They'll feel me, but they trying to program them. The head of Louis Vuitton, Bernard Arnault, fuck you. Alexander Arnault, fuck you. Francois Pinault, fuck you. Dimna,
Okay, and he's talking about fashion now and that whole saga and stuff that's going on in fashion world. You know, he's a prolific man. Okay, he's had a lot of obstacles, maybe if you could call it that, obstacles in his way, and trying to become a master in his craft in the fashion world and the rap and the music. And so, here's what's amazing to me. It's the whole, like, how he's portrayed. Okay, to me, this is the part that's interesting is just how they've gone after his family, really. And how the media portrays him. Crazy. He's crazy. He's crazy. He's bad for the family. Mistreats Kim Kardashian. He's anti-Semitic. He's crazy. He's crazy. He wore a red hat. And this is what a lot of men are going through. Not to this degree, maybe. Not to this level of accusations and public, stuff going on. But a lot of men, and it doesn't matter if you got money, if you're ultra famous, a woman can keep your kids away from you. And you get visitations rights. And you can see that, obviously Kanye West isn't doing himself any favors with his, I'm not saying I don't want to bash him and go along with the media, say he's crazy, but to me, he's a person who at least displays what looks like to be anger to me. And all people who have anger are stupid. And they do stupid things, they say stupid things that get them in trouble at the wrong time. And so that is itself a story. And it'd be nice to have it'd be nice if Jesse got a chance to talk to Kanye West here. But it's amazing to see his situation, really an extreme kind of version, put on display for us. This is what a lot of families are going through. You got to understand, Kim Kardashian. This is a man with money, fame, like countless Americans would be on his side. He could go out into the streets of most cities and he'd have a crowd. You know what I'm saying here? And they went, and he can't even see his kids he can't raise them the way he wants to. I showed you how he was negotiating with this Manny. Kim Kardashian admitted recently, and I've been harping on it ever since, but I really think it's significant that Kim Kardashian, who represents this female spirit that dominates the home, she represents the girl bosses of America, running things on your own, her mother and her whole female dynasty. We do our own thing. We don't need men. It's all there. Let's be real. Even if they don't say it, the context, the subtext. Well, she recently came out and said that the female-dominated home that her kids are growing up in, that she doesn't like it. And her response to that is not to bring back the man, bring back the husband and father in the home, to bring back the male and masculine influence that she's seeking, that she knows her kids need. Instead, she pays a man. She pays a man who she calls a Manny for this. She outsources it. And what does Kanye West have to do? He has to negotiate with this Manny on how to raise his children. There's a story out there, I read it the other day, on how Kanye West had to negotiate with this Manny who's being paid to spend time with his kids and he's negotiating too. It wasn't even like he wasn't even a demand. He was just hoping that this Manny would behave in certain ways, to not do this and do that, because that's how he wants his kids raised. But no, it was a negotiation. It was a fingers crossed, hoped that it's just incredible. It's just amazing. It's amazing to me. Oh, so I'd like to see him make a comeback, like Joe Rogan is saying, and others are saying. They're saying that they don't see it unlikely that Kanye West would make a comeback in terms of in the public eye. Will he be accepted, or will he still be this untouchable Nazi Hitler lover?
Can he come back like Bud Light?
Yes. Yay?
Yeah.
It's going to take one album.
Yeah.
One album.
I think
it says Sean Gillis here. Shane Gillis? I forget his name.
Everybody's already back. Like,
well, also, what better time to be mad at Jews?
that's a good point.
What better time to be mad at Jews, says Joe Rogan. You know, it's kind of interesting that he would say that. Joe Rogan, very wildly popular podcast. They're discussing with a comedian there, Shane Gillis, on the possible return of Kanye West in the public eye, despite the now untouchable status due to his commentary on Jews. Shane Gillis believing it'll only take one album. It's only going to take one album for him to be loved again by the public. Now, wouldn't that be sick? Wouldn't that be nice? Mainly because it would mean that isms don't mean that much. It would be us, the American public, telling the media and the world that isms aren't going to control us. And just because you call another man an ism doesn't mean that we're going to now hate him. So that would be cool to see if Joe Rogan would be right in his prediction and Shane Gillis. It'd be cool to see, personally speaking. He says, also, what a better time to be mad at Jews. Now, you know what's really funny about that? It's funny because it's true. It's funny because it's true. Right now is kind of the best time and the most acceptable time. If you really, think about this. I don't know if you've been paying attention at all to the online discourse and discourse even on TV and Fox and the media. It seems to be okay to criticize. I don't know. Do you guys disagree with me on this one? It seems to me like it's become okay, at least somewhat. Now, there are still powerful groups, ADL, there are powerful politicians. And also, don't get me wrong, there's the universities, free speech being basically, what's it called? Co-opted by groups or whatever. You're not allowed to say that. You're not allowed to say this because it's anti-Semitic, it's racist, etc. Don't get me wrong about all that, but hold on. Don't you agree? Wouldn't you agree with me that right now it's kind of the most allowed time to criticize Jews, criticize Israel, and all that? Joe Rogan's actually not wrong. This is kind of the best time. You know what I'm saying here? The best time to be mad at Jews. What I mean by that, and what I think Rogan means by that, it's like the most acceptable time. So if you're going to have criticisms and put out an album or whatever, go DEFCON 3, it might be now. I find that comment interesting for this reason. Doesn't that mean Jews don't run everything? Now, in these past few weeks, we've seen politicians, American media be afraid of words like anti-Semitism and be afraid to criticize Jews or whatever. We've seen that. Okay, I'm not gonna poo-poo some of the people in my chat bringing that up. But doesn't this, tell me where I'm wrong here, doesn't this kind of mean that they don't run everything? It means we're still in the fight. It means, you see what I'm saying here? It means there's still a fight here. There's wiggle room. There's criticisms. I don't know. To me, it's. But anyways, it's a mess, right? Marriage, it's a mess. You can have money. You could have countless fans. Money, fans, and you'll still have the world will side with a woman over you, and they'll take away your kids. They say the marriage rates are horrible, and the divorce rate is dismal. 50%, I hear. 50% divorce rate. Why even get married? Percentage of Americans married. 1990s. I mean, if I'm supposed to believe what I'm seeing here, this graph, people born in the 1990s are less than 40% married? That's crazy. 40%, like less than 40% married, nearing 20%. Is that what I'm supposed to understand here? Closer to 20% married. 1990s percentage of Americans married by birth decade. But then if I'm supposed to understand the landscape of marriage and dating nowadays, then the other 40% that is married are like simps and beta males and pathetic. Like those ones I showed you yesterday. Is there anyone like being a man in marriage? Or is everybody getting beat up at home? Even the toughest, even the big Marines, muscly guys. Are they all getting beat up by their wives at home? I hear the callers on the JLP show. It seems like that's the rule, not the exception. Married men are betas. Look at these married men betas. Okay, do you know who Andrew Schultz is? Andrew Schultz, he's like a popular comedian guy. Has his podcast, The Flagrant Podcast. Very popular. Pretty funny guy, pretty funny stuff. There's a viral moment on their podcast here. Andrew Schultz, funny guy, podcast host, very popular. They had a guest on their show. He goes by DJ Academics. You don't really need to know these people. This is like this world of online content. But these people, at least DJ Academics, he does a lot of commentary on current events, drama, rap news. Andrew Schultz is a comedian. He also does commentary on current events. He had DJ Academics on his show, and they were talking about another podcast host, Fresh and Fit. You probably know the Fresh and Fit as well. Fresh and Fit, they're known for their men's rights podcasts, according to Wikipedia. But they're known for the red pill stuff, the dating content. If you don't know them, they're one of these podcasts that invite all these Instagram models and they go hard on them and they tell them how feminism is bad and OnlyFans models are worthless and all that stuff. You've seen these videos. If you don't, that's what they do. So Andrew Schultz invited DJ Academics on his show to talk about, and during this appearance, they talk about Fresh and Fit being demonetized. If you don't know, in the social media world, there's been a lot of these canceling and demonetizations. The Hake Report, Jesse Lee Peterson, these are people who've been demonetized. Essentially, you can't receive super chats, you can't receive ads because YouTube has deemed your content to be not advertiser friendly and sometimes even worse. Bigoted, racist, etc. Hateful speech even. And so the censorship saga has kind of been one that's been ongoing since 2016. Anybody who knows that free speech is under attack. And people are banned and canceled and shadow banned for talking about things that are, if you pay attention now, are okay. You used to not be able to talk about white replacement, 2020, women, COVID, countless people getting banned for simply asking questions. Now you could talk about those things. The point here is that this demonetization has to do with the canceling and censorship saga, which has kind of been a significant one for us, at least for us, because they banned conservatives, they banned Trump off Twitter. Free speech is in context with big tech is a very significant conversation as of late. With technology, with the advent of the smartphone being ubiquitous amongst the majority of Americans, So you realize censorship kind of takes on a different significance in this context. So DJ Academics was on this show with Andrew Schultz, and they talk about Fresh and Fit getting demonetized. And I just wanted to show you this clip because this is how some men talk.
I don't lie, my man's from Fresh and Fit was like, yo, damn, yo, that dude still hating on us, man.
Wait, what's up with Fresh and Fit? Are they still doing it?
They cooling.
But are they still doing the pod?
Yeah, of course you mean they're still doing it. You not watching?
I didn't know that they're still doing the pod.
Where can you think they died?
No, I don't know. Maybe
they got demonetized. You know, it was a minor setback for a major comeback. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, don't laugh like that.
Don't laugh. You say, don't be disrespectful. The man got demonetized. Don't laugh, okay? Can we have some, even if you dislike the guy, don't be disrespectful. We're all in this media space. We don't want to prey on the demonetization of our competitors. That's just not right.
No, but tell us, so what's going on? Like, are they still, but they're still doing the pod?
They're still doing the pod, man.
That's
you know,
fire,
they got some different monetization strategies.
You know, what else are they working on? What's their different monetization strategy?
What's up with y'all, man?
Yo,
look at Ack. Look at Ack. What's up with y'all? Look at Ack. Look at DJ Academics' face when they all start laughing.
But they're still doing the pod.
They're still doing the pod, man.
That's
you know,
fire,
they got some different monetization strategies. You know,
what else are they
He's
working
shocked.
on? What's their different
He's
monetization
shocked.
strategies?
He's shocked.
Y'all, man.
Yo, what's their different monetization strategies?
Nah, hold on, man. I don't like how y'all. I feel like y'all been.
You brought him up. I ain't bring him up. You brought him up. Don't be upset at us for shit you bring up.
Y'all praying on my man's downfall.
Praying on downfall. You asked me if we watched their podcast. I'm a 40-year-old man who's happy. Why would I watch that podcast?
We're all married, bro. We're all married. I only watch it when I'm fighting with my wife. I'll be like, these guys get me. These guys understand, bro. They understand women.
4 days every month. I watch that shit probably.
Dang. Okay, so this is why this is significant to me. You might think this is ridiculous, or it's like, why are we watching this, Nick? And why after Kanye West and your little thing on marriage? Okay. Because censorship is, like I already said, is kind of an important topic for especially for myself, conservatives, people who've been watching my show these past years with Trump. Very significant. Canceling, demonetization. I don't think anyone who's an honest person wants that for someone else. Anyone who cares about free speech, even if it's the person who, even if you don't like Fresh and Fit, even if you don't like Trump, even if you don't like this or that person, an honest American who you would be, I don't know, who you would enjoy as a fellow citizen of the country, who's an honest person, would defend the free speech of Fresh and Fit and would be against their demonetization and canceling. Okay, straight up. And these people may not understand what it's like to be canceled and how that's happening to people. And they seem to be so glib and they yuck it up. And these are men, okay? This is what gets me. These are married men and they're yucking it up. And if you don't know about Fresh and Fit, they talk a lot about women. They red pill. And so these guys, they're like, we're happily married. Why would we watch that stupid show? We're happily married. I only watch it when I'm fighting with my girl. Okay, so when you're fighting with your girl, they make sense. So when you're fighting with your girl, they be honest, Andrew Schultz. Be honest, Andrew Schultz. Fresh and Fit makes sense to you a little bit, okay? You don't have to agree with everything they say, but do you really have to team up with your wife and feminists and be like, yeah, we're not with them, okay? I'm only with them when I'm fighting with my girl. It's like, then they make sense. Stop being stop with the lies, Andrew Schultz. They make a little bit of sense to you. And these are married men, okay? If 60%, 50% are getting divorced, the other 50% are like this, yucking it up, laughing it up at other men's downfall, teaming up with women, teaming up with censorship type women. I only watch that show when my wife lets me. Right on, Ivana. And it's really, I don't really care too much about drama and Andrew Schultz. I do watch a little bit of their stuff, DJ Academics. So it's a little bit of the Anchor Babies world. But I wanted to show you how married men talk and think. Just something I was thinking about, I guess. Kind of somehow stretch it all together in a segment here, but these are married men. And so it might be easy to look at Ye and be like, he's crazy. and he's hateful and easy to team up with the media and team up with the female-minded people that are okay with seeing a man's kids being taken away from him where he now sees visitation. But I don't know. Schultz, whatever. Schultz is a feminist, according to Rizzy Seasal. Kind of rambling. Nick calling out said people. No, you guys, Nick calling out said people. What are you talking about, Gypsy Jeep Jab? You might get me wrong. Anyways, I'm just rambling at this point. There was a point somewhere in there. Somewhere in there is I made a point somewhere. It's just the best. Marriage, the state of marriage, I guess, huh? Anyways, what can I even say? Plenty of couples married and otherwise enjoy watching Fresh and Fit. Yeah, right on, Imperfect Citizen. It'd be nice to see Jesse on Fresh and Fit. That'd be cool. We're going to make it happen, folks. Fingers crossed. Can't make any promises here, though. But that'd be cool, huh? Jesse Lee Peterson in the center, flanked to the left, flanked to the right, with OnlyFans Instagram biddies. What an episode. Now, what an episode that would be. Episode and a half. Viral. JLP versus the Instagram biddies. Yeah, viral. Viral. Bringing the people some of that, some of that good word. Anyways. That's the mess. That's what's going on. Thank you, DJ 2020 over there on Rumble. Surprised I'm not banned on Rumble. What makes you say that? Yeah, Ohio Sentinel. Jesse would call all of them sluts. And all the men slut makers. We got sluts. It's funny, man, how they tried to take back that word, slut, but they never really did because deep down they know. Right. They don't want to be a slut. Women deep down know this. All people know this. JLP vindicated again. I'd rather watch a show called Expired and It Kinda Fits. Silly. Salacious Crumb. Silly. Very silly. Very silly. Expired and It Kinda Fits. What's up, Ali.A? I haven't seen you in the chat in a while. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. All right, y'all. That's pretty much it. That's all the big stuff we got to. We got into the calls. We got into the super chats. You can call in last few minutes of the show, 888-775-3773. What do I even have enough time to show you? Do I have enough time to show you anything? You know what? Speaking of Fresh and Fit and these dating podcasts, I mean, here's a video I could show you in the last few minutes of the show. Yeah. This is a fine segue. Considering we're talking about Fresh and Fit and these dating podcasts, there was a woman who went on one of these podcasts. I believe it's called the Whatever Podcast. And her appearance on this show is going a little bit viral here.
I'll just like.
And okay. Yeah, it's the Whatever Podcast. And this woman went on it, and she went on it and lobbed the accusation that some people on the panel were being misogynist. Look at this article from the New York Post. I'll show you this before I show you the video. New York Post, and this is not the only article saying this. Making women look dumb is a disturbing new podcast trend. And they're talking about podcasts like Fresh and Fit, podcasts like the Whatever podcast. And they'll bring on these guests, and they'll be these young ladies, sometimes OnlyFans models. They'll be models, or they'll be all sorts of things. They'll be whatever. And the mainstream media is saying that it's a disturbing new trend to make these women look bad, look dumb. You sure they're not doing that themselves? Making women look dumb. The podcasts are doing this. You sure it's not them doing that themselves? Huh, New York Post? You don't think they're doing that to themselves? They're doing a fine job doing that themselves. Here's one of these women who the media is saying they're being made to look dumb. She went on the Whatever podcast to and lobbed the accusation they're misogynist. They asked her to define misogyny, and what ensued is the viral moment we're talking about, I guess. And I'm not showing you this to like go hard on this girl. Okay, I'm showing you this because I need to kill the last 5 minutes of the show here. But let's be real here. She's just a dumb girl. She's just being a dumb girl. We don't need to go hard on. She's being a dumb girl, okay? She's clearly spouting off stuff she learned. She would probably make a fine wife if only the right man subdued her and dominated her into submission, where she wouldn't say such dumb things, go around opining on such dumb things. But hey, left to her own devices, this is what she does. Don't get mad at her, okay? Don't get mad at her. But look at this dumb moment. Let's watch.
Okay, you guys are all just like really misogynistic.
How do you define misogyny? What? I'm just asking how you define misogyny.
Can I go?
She's crying. Everybody on this podcast they're feeling the same thing. Like, no way, this is happening.
Are you okay? Like, do you want to go as in leave? If you want to leave, you can leave. I was hoping we could continue having a conversation, but I mean,
don't go so hard on her, okay? She's just a dumb girl believing dumb things. And then she was confronted and I guess just asked to simply explain her position, which is a little difficult for a lot of people, especially for people who are brainwashed. So don't blame and get mad. Also, what the heck is the Whatever podcast anyways? Look, you guys know me. I'm not with the feminism and I like these men and their podcast. Look, I like it when guys are speaking the truth. Men on the Bond Network, men on these speaking the truth without fear. But maybe you guys don't know the Whatever podcast as well as I do. But what do these people even talk about? They really do bring on low-hanging fruit to basically say, okay, slut, you're a slut. And then the girl's like, no, I'm not. I'm not a slut. I'm a woman. And then the guys are like, yeah, well, guess what? Guess what this guy thinks? You're a slut. And look, I'm not against the whole putting women in their place. They got quite an ego nowadays. And someone's got to bring them down from their high horse. But can it be men with actual love and not just men who are like, look at these stupid women? Some love so we can influence, okay? But anyways, just rambling about the video. Look, it's a mess. We need men. And that's it. Folks, that's the show. That's American Anchor Baby. We did the calls. We did the super chats. We did the topics. I'll be back tomorrow for more American Anchor Baby. Thursday, we got a nice show for tomorrow. Should be a nice show on the Hake Report. And, of course, Bible Thumper Thursday. You got to love it. On the Jesse Lee Peterson Show, 6 a.m. Pacific time. All right, y'all. That's it from me. That's the American Anchor Baby. Catch me tomorrow. And I'll say bye one last time. Bye. Bye. And bye, Lil Nick. Bye.